Welcome along to Ringside's eve of battle on what's been a sad day for the sport as we reflect on Muhammad Ali and his final journey, the incredible scenes out in Louisville. Carl Froch and our own Ed Robinson are with us. Carl, as we expected, a massive, massive turnout for the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an unbelievable turnout, and it really has been done proud, and he should be done proud. I mean, it's still hard to get your head around the fact that Muhammad Ali has gone. It's strange, and it's not until he goes. I mean, we all know how great he was and what he did, but the amount of generations he touched, right back from early 70s right through to even now, when we're still making documentaries on TV and radio about him, it's just phenomenal, the mark he's left and the legacy he's left behind. And
the tributes from so many different people in so many parts of the world have been really touching, haven't they?
Yeah, in actual fact, trying to be positive, it's been lovely to see some of that old footage again. You get so caught up in the moment, in the here and now, to actually see
those images. Yeah,
to see those images, so many of them, because you put a camera near Muhammad Ali and he was just so charismatic. He, cliche, but he lit up the screen, and just to see that footage and see perhaps the new generation who didn't know so much about him, reading about him and seeing some of those shots has been a positive.
That's it, you know, the young fighters who still inspire to be good because of Muhammad Ali. They weren't even born. He's touched so many different generations. There won't be another, will there, ever?
I don't think there will, and from that point of view, where he touched so many generations, even like my generations and maybe my kids will still be looking at him. He was so far ahead of his time for what he was doing inside the ring and outside the ring as well, for a number of reasons. But if we're focusing just on his boxing ability and what he achieved, yes, he wasn't unbeaten, but he went probably on for a few years too long, as many fighters do. But what he achieved whilst he was boxing, and the way in which he boxed the best and beat the best, was just phenomenal.
It was incredible, and I'm sure there'll be much, much more in the coming weeks. The boxing world, of course, turns. We have live action over this weekend, Ed, and it's a triple header from New York, and there should be some cracking battles on there.
Yeah, 3 good fights on the bill. All world-class, really. Dejan Zlatikanin, who beat Ricky Burns a couple of years ago, is fighting for the WBC title vacated by Jorge Linares against Frank Mamani, who's a Bolivian. He's a late replacement. He's not got the best record, but it's a decent fight. Then you've got Demetrius Andrade, who could be the best light middleweight in the world. Sal Canelo Alvarez probably going down, so he'd dispute that. The Charlo brothers would also dispute it. But he's got a good fight against Willie Nelson, who's tall and rangy and beat Tony Harrison.
Yeah.
But the main fight is just a really good blend of styles. Ruslan Provodnikov, the Siberian Rocky, he just loves to come forward. He's always aggressive, exciting, and he's fighting John Molina Jr.
You're smiling. These are your sort of fights, aren't they?
Yeah,
Provodnikov Molina could be an absolute classic.
He was in a real tight one against Timothy Bradley. I mean, that was a split decision, I believe.
Yeah, he hurt Bradley bad as well.
Yeah, and the Siberian Rocky, I mean, what a name that is. I mean, it makes you smile just saying it. So it's a real exciting weekend. It's a real good blend of different styles and fights, but I think all 3 of them are crackers.
And then we've got a fortnight to build up, of course, to Anthony Joshua's first defence of the world heavyweight title against Dominic Breazeale on the card. Of course, your old nemesis, your old foe, George Groves, in a really good one with Martin Murray. There's Chris Eubank Jr. and Tom Doran, the unbeaten winner of Prize Fighter. It's going to be a great night, isn't it? Summer sizzler at the O2.
It is, yeah. I'm looking forward to, obviously, the main event, Big Josh, and my old nemesis, George Groves. We've not spoke much. I think we're cool with each other. We don't give each other any backhand compliments anymore. But that's a great fight against Murray. That is really one of the fights where whoever wins that one goes on to have another crack at a world title. So it's real crunch time for both of them. And they're both in similar positions. Murray's been around a while, but this is really his last bite at the cherry. So you can see, when I'm reading the interviews he's been doing on the build-up to the fight, you can see how much he wants it and how much he believes, and he's going to take Groves into deep water late on. He thinks he's got stamina issues. George Groves is reborn now with Shane McGuigan, and he's believing in himself again. And it's a card I'm looking forward to for many reasons.
Yeah, Eubank and Doran, Dylan White as well on it. It should be some night.
Yeah, Dylan White's coming back after his shoulder surgery after the fight with Anthony Joshua.
I want to see him in with Derek Chisora, Ed. Can you make that happen?
I think, yeah, they really don't like each other. That's a genuine rivalry between the 2 of them, and I think that'll play out as the months go on. But I think Eubank against Doran's going to be a really decent fight for the British title. And then, you know, talk of maybe a Golovkin fight down the line. We'll wait and see if that happens. But I'm with Carl. I think the fight between Martin Murray and George Groves could be the fight of the night.
Joshua, June the 25th. Got to have a quick word about Tyson Fury, of course, against Vladimir Klitschko, the rematch July the 9th, because obviously the idea of Joshua wins, Fury wins, they meet. Do you think that will happen?
Potentially. I mean, I think Fury's going to do the business again. I don't think anybody's picking Klitschko. It's unbelievable. It's almost like he's got old overnight. We've seen that lacklustre performance against Fury where he just didn't throw a punch, and we think all he's got to do is start throwing a few punches. But there's a big reason why he didn't throw a punch, and it was the movement and the tricking, the awkwardness of Fury. And I think it's only going to get worse for Klitschko. So I'm with 99% of everybody else who's picking Fury to win that one. And then on from that, why not? Let's see him against Josh. What a big fight that is. That'd be a fantastic fight to see. I mean, I'm excited about that one, and it's a fight that really we shouldn't be starved of. We should not be robbed of that fight.
Finally, Ed, it's great to see the heavyweights, thriving again. You have Deontay Wilder, David Haye, of course. It may never be that era of the Foremans, the Fraziers, the Nortons, the Shavers, the Alis. But it's great, isn't it, that the glamour division, at a sad time like this, with the passing of Muhammad Ali, is front page news again.
Well, there's lots of things that made Ali great. The fact he evolved as a fighter over the years and evolved as a person. But one of the big things that made him a great fighter was the rivalries. And he got to fight people like Frazier and Ken Norton and George Foreman. And that's a golden era. We'll never get that again. No. But we do have some real good rivalries now. People talking about Joseph Parker against Anthony Joshua. You know, what's going to happen with Povetkin and whether he's going to fight Wilder. And maybe Klitschko can turn the clock back and beat Tyson Fury. It's interesting. People are talking about a game, which is the best we can hope for.
Thank you, Carl. Thanks, Ed, on a very sad and reflective week for the sport. The greatest, Muhammad Ali, with his final journey, and may he rest in peace. Goodbye from us.